Well, a very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. It's my pleasure to have you on board on Kenya's most comprehensive political and public governance analysis show. Definitely, I'm talking about the Candy Talk with me, Evans Okini. Well, this fine morning, I'm here with my resident guest, Wakili Willis Otieno. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Austerity measures, performance and delivery, these are terms that are now synonymous with the government here, so to say. I wonder whether the office of the first lady and the second lady are still financed by the taxpayers' money, despite that being one of the contentious issues upon which the Gen Zs went on demonstrations back then. Now, let's have it here. The president has decided to appoint again Moses Kuria to his as his economic advisor, joining that particular list. He's also decided to have a deputy chief of staff, of course, former CS Eliud Owalo. And a number of Kenyans are reading a lot from these things, and they're saying that perhaps the president is not being sincere here in terms of his real intention towards solving the economic problems that are bedeviling this country. Let's begin from here. What do you make of all these appointments that keep on appearing here, being done by the president?
You know, William Ruto speaks from both ends of the mouth. Just last month he said that he even issued a circular signed by the head of public service that they are calling on ministries and senior government officials to reduce their number of advisors by 50%.
Okay.
Then the same person now is appointing again a new cadre of advisors just to expend public money. To him, his word means nothing. That's why I said you're the only one who takes him seriously. Even him, he doesn't take himself seriously. William Ruto does not take William Ruto seriously. Because he says this today and does this tomorrow. He says we are going to reduce advisors, he appoints 2 and more. That makes sense. So he doesn't believe in himself. So why do you waste time analyzing that man?
Okay.
Because in the fullness of time, even if you look at our constitution, what is the primary function of cabinet? The cabinet is the advisory board of the president. That is the primary function of cabinet, to advise the president. Then now you bring Akina David Ndii and this one, Moses Kuria, Sijui Adan, Sijui who, all manner of characters to offer advisory services. What advisory services are they offering? They're not constitutional office holders. He's just trying to undermine the constitution. Once he appoints incompetent people to cabinet, and then now he wants to reward his political acolytes by calling them advisors. To advise on what? Do they take political responsibility or constitutional responsibility for the advice they are giving? When the architecture of the constitution has bestowed the responsibility of advisory on the cabinet. So who are they? It's like saying, you know, the sadness of this thing is this. It's like saying the Chief Justice of Kenya decides to appoint an advisory judge who will advise them on exercising their functions of judicial officer. So as they are sitting there hearing a case, the advisors are sitting behind them to render their views on the matter. I mean, it's madness.
Okay.
That's what William Ruto is doing here. No one seems to notice.
So what do you think informs this kind of decision by the president? Because it's like, for him, he thinks that these positions are necessary and therefore he needs them. Do you think we need these positions in the
We don't need them. Those are just political expediency. They're done for political expediency.
Okay.
There's no value that Moses Kuria is going to add to the lives of the people of Kenya that he didn't add when he was a CS. There's no value. I mean zero value. In fact, if anything, he's just going to cause the people of Kenya more pain. Because now we have the responsibility of paying for the running of that office and to pay him a salary for doing nothing. If Moses Kuria was competent, then why didn't he retain him as a CS? Why remove him as a CS and make him an advisor and call it ministerial level?
Okay.
You could have as well retained him as a CS. But he adds no value. He adds no value to the people of Kenya. Why remove him from a constitutionally recognized office to now make him an advisor in an amorphous entity that usurps the role of a constitutional office. But that is William Ruto for you. I told you. He doesn't even trust, he doesn't believe in himself. He doesn't trust himself. He speaks, just says anything. You cannot tell the flow of what he says. But that is him. And Kenyans have made up their mind about who he is. So don't even waste time discussing him. Because we all know who he is. Okay. He is a representation of pain to the people. So forget about him. Let's talk about the future. A future that Kenyans will be having a leadership that pays attention to their needs, that is responsive to their needs, that believes in the rule of law. That's about achieving human dignity to the individual, up to the individual level. Not just creating jobs for a special cadre of Kenyans. If you are not a minister today, you are a governor, you from a governor to being a senior advisor, to being a PS, to being a what? The same characters. If you look at William Ruto's top administration and the last 20 years, they've all been somewhere. I mean, which new cadre can you say exists in that group? There's none. Okay. Which new thinking do they have? They are living in the past. They are not about the new promise of Kenya. Okay. A promise about the human individual that guarantees that individual dignity. They can't understand it.
We are having here, of course, the Ministry of Performance and it's called Performance and what? Public Service and Performance and Delivery and all that. The ministry that is under J.B. Muturi, the one that was formerly held by Moses Kuria. Then we have the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, which is some people do term amorphous. We also have the Office of the Deputy President. Then there is the Head of Public Service, and now there is now the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of performance and delivery. All these things here talk about we do not have any distinctive role that is assigned to a specific person, but then all of them are kind of duplicate. What do you think actually the president should do in order to at least show Kenyans that he cares about them and he's...
But why are you asking...
Good intentions.
Okay, why are you asking him to do something to show Kenyans that he cares? But he's the one who created the problem. Okay. He's the one who brought these offices. Why are you asking him to do something?
But something has to be done.
No, he's the one who brought the problem. I mean, why are you asking him? That you tell him what he can do to show Kenyans that he cares. But the problem is he's making. So why are you asking him to do something? It's not the first time we've had a civil service, yeah? This is not the first cabinet or government. It's not the last. It will come and go like the others have come and gone. He just looks back and see how he ran now, for example, Kibaki, when Prime Minister Raila was there. They had all the same offices, but there was synergy in government.
Is there a limit to the number of appointments that the president can make? Because this now
that is what Kenyans sought to achieve in the constitution by saying you cannot have more than 22 members of the cabinet. Okay. It's in the constitution, there's a limit. But now you're seeing William Ruto appointing all characters and calling them advisors, ministerial level. What is ministerial level? When the cabinet has told you, your cabinet should not be more than 22 members. Kenyans did that. Intentional. There's a conscious provision in the constitution. Between 14 and not more than 22. It's there in the constitution. Now he's appointing all characters and calling them ministerial level. So they're going to earn salaries at ministerial level.
So apart from the members of the cabinet which are actually specified by the constitution, these other appointments that the president is making, first of all, in the first place, do they have any legal backing?
No, they are illegal appointments. That's what I'm saying. Even their functions. The function of advising the president vests in the cabinet. That is in the constitution. Part of the functions of the cabinet is to advise the president. So who is this person who is now putting upon his role? Show me which statute, which part of the constitution allows the William Ruto to appoint somebody to advise him outside the cabinet. There's none. The only other person who can advise him outside the cabinet is the Attorney General, who also in the constitution is appointed as the chief legal advisor to the government. So where does Moses Kuria or Ndi Edan fall in? Where do they come in? Those are ghost workers, just eating our money. There's nothing they're doing. Their positions are not anchored in any law. And there is no amount of discussion we are going to have here that will cleanse those offices. There is no circular that can bestow upon those office holders a legal backing to perform the functions of advising the president. All that should end up at cabinet. If you think you have advice, find yourself to a cabinet secretary and offer your advice through that cabinet secretary. But you cannot now superintend yourself that now you are an advisor to the president. From where? Where's the legal backing for it? That is the problem we face here. They are trying to borrow from the experience of other countries. They don't have similar provisions like our constitution. They don't cap their cabinet. They have not specified the role of their cabinet. If our constitution has said the role of cabinet is to advise the president, that is a responsibility given to cabinet to advise the president. So anybody else who wants to advise the president, you come through cabinet.
Okay.
That's where the advice is anchored. So you cannot create an office and give it the functions of cabinet. And that office you cannot create it by executive order, by fiat.
Okay.
Yeah. You cannot even create it by a circular. No.
Okay.
If there's anybody who wants to advise the president as an office holder, go to cabinet. That's what it is. Okay. Now they're creating all of these things and calling them cabinet level appointment. What is cabinet level appointment? There's nothing like that. But William Ruto didn't believe in our constitution. Tomorrow is Katiba Day. We are marking 14 years since we enacted our new constitution. And the only politician who campaigned against the constitution is William Ruto. He holds the ignominy of being the only senior politician who did not vote for this constitution that is now claiming to be implementing. That is the face of William Ruto. He did not vote for this constitution. He campaigned against it. So that is why don't be surprised when you see him doing all these things he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah. He had hoped that the constitution should allow the president to appoint even 1,000 people to be cabinet secretaries to reward his political acolytes. So why you don't expect much from that guy?
Talk to me about the other thing, of course, in as much as the president announced that he had scrapped off the funding to the offices of the first lady, the second lady, and of course the spouse of the prime cabinet secretary. That has not been the case here, and people are asking, what is actually happening here? So what do you make of that as well? And then also tell me about this. Do Kenyans have any other alternative or other legal redress through which these things can be solved?
You know, I've told you that William Ruto does not believe in the constitution. There's nothing like office of first lady or office of second lady. Those are spouses of the respective office holders. They are not elected. They don't even deserve public attention. They should just appear and get their respect as spouses to the person who is elected into office. Okay? And you should not be creating a budget line for them. For what? They are not elected. If they want to expend, then in fact they should be getting whatever they have through their spouses. But they have no role in public service. So if you want to be a first lady, or a second lady, or a spouse of the prime cabinet, go and come up with your own charity and fundraise and do the things you're supposed to be doing. Things that are not done by government. You see, Michelle was focused on the question of fitness. Just encouraging fitness as a cause. That young people should eat healthy, exercise. I mean, you didn't see Michelle at there in the White House that he being allocated $100 million to run the fitness program. No. But here, all manner of budgets and advisors and intercessors to do nothing. A first lady should stay behind closed doors. And when they go out, they should be doing charity, using their own resources to champion a cause. You don't become a burden to the taxpayer. And if there be any support, because already in the president's budget, everything is taken care of, including his meals. It's taken care of in the budget. Even the workers, the people who work in his home, are paid for by us. Then now you want to also add the wife to be earning a salary and running a budget. For what? We don't need that kind of a nation. And as we believe when we get to the office, we will not touch those things. Our spouses will stay and do charity and continue doing their work, what they were doing before. They should not come and occupy public space and drain public resources, especially when you look at the sums that are being talked about. The allocations can take over 1,000 kids through high school and university. Somebody is spending it in 1 year. That is what we call absurdity. Yeah. So we must talk about a nation that is not about enriching a certain class of Kenyans, while a larger chunk of the population is living in squalor. That is what William Ruto and Kenya Kwanza are doing to us. They are only fattening themselves and their families. They are not serving the people's interest.
Okay. Now, finally, the question that I asked with these irregular and uncalled for appointments here by the president, do you think that Kenyans have that kind of opportunity to seek legal redress towards this, so that maybe there's a way in which the courts can intervene and bring the president back?
Yes, they can seek legal redress and also seek political redress. Legal redress to quash those allocations, and political redress to punish these people politically for what they're doing. And that will happen. Both options are on the table and both options will be pursued. These people need to be punished and removed from office. They cannot continue doing this to our people. And the Kenyan people will have an opportunity when elections are called to send a clear message to the next leadership. It can't get into office just to fatten yourself and your family. You get into office to serve the people. You're supposed to be delivering dignity to the people.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a part of this family. Well, you can weigh in on this conversation and tell us what you think about the recent appointments that have been made by the president of the country. Do you think they are necessary? Do you think we really need these appointments at the end of the day? Will they surface? Will they help in terms of service delivery to Kenyans? Well, if at all you're watching us for the first time, kindly subscribe to our channel here and stay tuned to some of our programs that will be coming up next. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. Thank you for watching. My name is Evans Okini.